Hello guys, welcome to my channel. There has been some hotfix changes in Zenless Zone 0, 1.6, 0.1.1, something like that I guess at this point. But before you doom and gloom, I just wanna let you know that Soldier Anby and Trigger will end up being fine because, for example, Enagi also received many changes throughout her beta, but she ended up being okay. So that's why I wouldn't worry much about the S ranks. Personally, I'm more worried about Pulchra because she did receive significant nerfs and we're finally getting an A rank character, but it seems they want this A rank character to be something just like what Hanya was to Sparkle. You know, the character comes out, you have it for 3 weeks, Trigger shows up and replaces Pulchra, I guess. I think personally Pulchra might end up being like a set situation, very quickly forgotten shortly after release, because it was very similar with Set as well. We used to play it with Jane Doe on release, and then they released Caesar 3 weeks later, and we pretty much forgot about Set. Most of us, you would say. Of course, I will still go over the actual changes for each character, but I also want to take opportunity within this video to talk about the A ranks, 4 stars in general, and it seems to me, at least in Zenless Zone 0, as of right now, the A ranks we were getting on the Rata banner, like Set and Pulchra, the way she's looking to end up being, kinda concerning, yeah, because you definitely don't want your favorite character to be an A rank if they're designed to be in a way where they become not as an enticing option to use as soon shortly after they release the 5-star, S rank option instead. Anyways, let's begin first with Soldier Anby motion value adjustments. Feel free to pause the screen if you want to read more stuff in detail. There is also a TLDR, I guess. We'll also have that one near the end of the video. Generally for Soldier Anby, she did receive some motion value nerfs, but I believe at the end of the day she's gonna end up being okay, and do expect further adjustment to happen. I do not think that she will end up being weak on release or anything like that. That's why, like I said, I wouldn't worry too much about this. Her quick assist and assist follow-up also did receive some motion value nerfs, followed by defensive assist, dash attack, and dodge counter. Her chain attack has also been nerfed further, including with ultimate attack. These numbers might seem steep, but you have to remember that if you do pair her up with Trigger, it's gonna be fine. And like I already said, there's gonna be very likely more adjustments because ZZZ devs seem to do a lot of adjustments compared to perhaps what you're used to in Genshin and HSR, so that's pretty cool at least. On the other hand, Trigger did receive some changes as well. Her basic attack within the sniper state has been slightly nerfed. Her additional attack did receive a multiplier nerf, but it also seems there's a new additional attack that has been introduced, and it does share the same motion value as the previous one, so I think this will end up being alright. Her dodge did receive also some multiplier nerfs. Her ultimate, on the other hand, did receive a slight buff by the looks of it. Alright. Like I already said for Trigger and Soldier Anby, they're gonna end up being in an okay spot on release. That's why I wouldn't really doom post them or anything like that. I still believe that Soldier Anby, very likely further adjustments, the end result on release at least, will end up being a very strong character along with Trigger. But like I already said, I originally wanted to make this video primarily to focus more on Pulchra's situation. For Pulchra, she did receive quite extensive nerfs. As you can see, her basic attack has been nerfed a bit, which doesn't seem like a big deal until you look at her additional attack. Additional attacks are a big part of Pulchra kit, and they've been gutted by a very, very large amount. Also, the final attack, which is the final hit within the additional attack thing, I assume, has also been extensively reduced. As you can see, number from literally 1,278 down to 127%. Also, the days multiplier has been nerfed extensively, and this definitely does make Pulchra much weaker than what she used to be, and I don't have high hopes of her getting further adjustments to make her what she used to be, because she is an A rank at the end of the day. She will also supposedly be given for free within 1.6 patch, and I would see her being something that people will use with Silver Soldier Anby for 3 weeks, and then most people will dump her and go with Trigger instead. I still think this character will have a place for beginner players in the future, but as soon as you get the actual S rank Trigger, that is, you will always get to replace Pulchra, because there was at some point where Pulchra, I believe, used to be a bit more competitive with Trigger, but this is no longer the case. Also, her X special attack received further changes. Also multiplier nerfs. However, the decibel generation for the X special has been buffed at least, so that's cool. And actually, now that I notice, also the days multiplier has been buffed as well. Her ultimate did receive a slight nerf, but like I said, the biggest nerf is the additional attack slash the final attack within that additional attack. I guess I can hope that perhaps they will revert some of this stuff for Pulchra, but I don't think they will ever bring her to what she used to be. And this is a very concerning trend, if you ask me, that perhaps in the future, every time we get an A rank character, they will not be that competitive or strong like what we have with Nicole or Lucy. We're just characters that are great for beginners or to use in the meantime until the S rank quote-unquote variation of it drops and you replace it. Here are also the TLDR changes. Feel free to pause the screen if you want to read them. TLDR doesn't exactly include all the numbers, but you can still read it if you want. And now that I notice, her M1 and M2 were also nerfed slightly. I believe her M1, M2, or some of her mindscapes of Pulchra, that is, were already kind of shifted around. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. But the slight nerfs still, I guess, suck. But I would say the base kit being heavily nerfed, that's the worst part of it. Of course, as we get more information, we'll have a better idea of how these characters will end up being. But like I said, I'm confident that Trigger and Silver Soldier Anby will end up being very strong on release, so I wouldn't worry too much about these two characters. But Pulchra, yeah, I mean, do you actually guys play set? I mean, I'm actually curious. Do any of you guys still play set? And if you do, please feel free to write it in the comments. Like, do you play set because you're like a new player, you don't have other characters, or you don't have the S rank equivalents like Caesar or something like that, and that's why you still play set? I'm actually rather curious, so feel free to write it down in the comments below. I'll check it out. And also, there has been some drive disk changes. The set bonuses have been changed. The Shadow Companion set bonus, which is for additional attack and dash attacks, they increased the attack buff by 4% from 3. The crit rate is still at 4%. However, it now lasts 15 seconds instead of 20, and it does stack up to 3 times instead of 4. So you will get now effectively less crit rate than before. But at least there is no maximum trigger of once every 3 seconds anymore. So you can just keep retriggering it and get the duration refreshed. So you will be able to keep these 3 stacked with relative ease. So Silver Soldier Anby is gonna cook with this set. And the other set, which is for anomaly characters, the anomaly master increased by 8%. The 4-piece has been changed as well. Now it lasts from 6 seconds to 8 seconds, and the cooldown timer, which you had before 0.05 seconds, has been completely removed. It no longer says that the effect refreshes on repeated triggers, and also it does say, just as before, if X special skill is used by a team member other than the wielder either damage is increased by 25%. Even the picture of this set bonus is literally Vivian's umbrella. This is a supposedly Ether anomaly character being released in 1.7 patch, subject to change. But if that is the case, it's very likely that it is for for her, and we can also speculate that she might end up being an off-field anomaly type of character similar to Bernice. So overall, these are the changes. If you have any questions or like to add anything yourself, feel free to do so. Personally, I just wanted to open a discussion about A rank situation in this game, with how A ranks are going forward within this game. Because, for example, in HSR, you know, we got, for example, when we had Gallagher, he was a very great competitive 4-star option on his release and for several months to come. Meanwhile, for Pulchra, I think it's gonna be, she comes out great for 3 weeks, and then Trigger will obviously end up being better than her, at least as of right now. What do you think of this situation specifically? Feel free to let me know within the comments down below. I will probably react over these comments on my streams. I stream every single day on Twitch/YouTube. Feel free to check me out if you would like to do so. And yeah, I guess this is it for this video. Also, if you like this video, feel free to give it a like. And if you dislike it, you can dislike it, I guess, smile. But I would be surprised if you were watching me up to this point just to dislike it, you know? Yeah. But hey, if you do it, I get it. So yeah, that's about it. Actually, you can also subscribe as well, smile, if you would like to support me. And yeah, now for real, take care and see you in the next video.